Welcome to This Week in College Hockey. Tony Scott, Jess Myers, Sydney Wolf, here to break down kind of a light weekend of college hockey.
Holiday weekend, yeah.
I feel like there was not everybody was at it, and everybody who was playing feels like they were playing a little bit more of a non-conference schedule versus a schedule. How are you doing today, Sydney?
Doing pretty good. It's 3 p.m. I feel like it's like 7 p.m.
Yeah, you got a little,
I think it's just that Thanksgiving.
dental work today?
I did. So if my pronunciation is a little
Slippery.
funky, I think I have about 80% of my face back. We'll see.
Love that. Yeah, I feel like I'm the only one who's not hurt.
Yeah.
Jess, you got a bad wheel.
I came in on crutches. Yeah.
How did it happen?
Oh, it's a fantastic story of heroism. I was changing a light bulb, honest to
So
God.
like
And
on a ladder?
no, like stepped up on the edge of my bathtub to reach the light bulb above the bathtub.
Okay.
And then I
Classic.
put weight on my knee.
Yeah.
I felt a pop.
Oh.
And it's I have a condition. They diagnosed it. It's called old.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Just old.
Father time.
I grew a year older yesterday, so I'm well aware what old means. So.
I will say this, though, covering the Minnesota Wild, the last 2 home games I've been on crutches, in the
Really?
locker room, whatever, and the players have been fantastic because, let's face it, if you're 26 and you've made it to the NHL, you've had a knee surgery at some point in your
crutches.
life. Or, yeah, you've been down that road.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you guys, I kind of joked with you. John Hines said, what's up? I said, lower body, week to week. Because, that's all we ever get from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, long way from the heart, as Herbie would have said. I'll be fine.
You'll be fine. I think it'll heal.
Wow.
I hope so.
I think it'll heal. So,
Yep.
All right, Sydney, what do we got? There was a lot of, I thought there was a few good games out there, especially that Bemidji UND series.
Yeah.
I know that the points, the pairwise, whatever they call it these days, points are going to go to North Dakota, but man, Bemidji's got to feel pretty good about themselves.
Hey, overtime, too. I don't know if we'll have time to get to the NPI, but overtime losses really don't hurt that much. I was looking at the
Really?
NPI. Yeah, St. Cloud is very high despite not being that great because they have 3 overtime losses.
Did they come out? Did the NPI come out?
Well, you can look at it. I mean, it's not super, you have to take it with a grain of salt because it's still kind of early.
Yeah.
But St. Cloud's like 14 somehow, but they're like 7 and
14?
7. So, which doesn't make any sense. But they
Strength
have
of schedule means
3
a lot, though.
overtime losses. So I think because of the overtimes, it's helping them a little bit.
And let's face it, the NCHC is such a meat
'Cause
grinder. I mean, strength
in
of
my
schedule,
opinion,
you,
they should
you
not-
get that advantage.
They should not be that high, but I guess they're that high for now. But I think overtime losses are a little better
carry
this
value.
season. Yeah, I know there's like a home and away percentage too.
Right.
I don't know all that, but yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of conference games. The only conference games that happened were some CCHA teams. Otherwise, it was all kind of rando
Right.
opponents this weekend, just holiday stuff.
Yeah, CCHA was on conference.
Some of them
But
did,
everyone else
except
was outside.
Bemidji, like you said, Bemidji State played North Dakota, so that's not a conference game, but that's a fun one. And it actually was really close too. 5-3.
Was that home and home?
Yeah,
It
home and
was,
home.
okay, all right.
Great history in that series, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
oh,
glad
yeah.
they played each other.
Not too far apart. They're down Highway 2. Bob
Yeah.
Peters coached at both schools.
Yeah.
The late R.H. Bob Peters, the legend.
RH.
R.H. Bob.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that's a good result for Bemidji. It doesn't help them much, but it definitely doesn't hurt them.
Yeah, I mean, they actually played really well. I mean, it was a 5-3 loss and then a 2-1 overtime loss. So they were pretty close both games. And Friday, it was 4-3 heading into the third. And then UND got an empty net goal, so it was more like 4-3 and then add one at the end. North Dakota, I know, Tony, you don't care about shots on goal, but they had a lot more shots. Game 1 and then Game 2, it was a lot closer. So it seems like Friday maybe was a little different, and then Saturday Bemidji kind of adjusted, and they also had home ice. I think Friday. I think it was Friday in Grand Forks.
Right. Here's a stat for you.
Friday was in Bemidji. Saturday was at North
Really?
Dakota.
Oh, other way around. Okay.
Yeah. But just generally, speaking of Bemidji, how about kind of righting the ship this month? They had that tough October. They got swept by St. Cloud. They got swept by Duluth.
Yep.
Those are in-state rivals. Those hurt. Those.
Right.
Forget RPI and NPI and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Those just hurt because you want to win your neighborhood games.
yeah.
You didn't get a win against North Dakota, but I think playing better. And then they got some wins last month. Bowling Green, Lake Superior State, a couple of good games with Michigan Tech. Northern Michigan. Everybody's beating Northern Michigan right
Yep.
now, but still, a win's a win. So kind of a got back on track if you're the Beavers.
Yeah.
Here was a cool stat. I was like, man, that's a good result. Let's go see. I want to go, peel back the onion on the Beavers a little bit. And Bemidji State is 7-1-2 in the conference, obviously tied for first.
Yeah.
With Minnesota State.
They play some good non-conference games.
Yeah.
Like you said, NCHC teams. So they're pretty prepared. And I think, too, early on, the losses to, like, St. Cloud and Duluth, I don't know if they really played bad. When they played St. Cloud, they just took a lot of penalties. That was kind of just unfortunate.
Gave up a lot of goals against Duluth. 12 goals on the weekend. I mean, that's...
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, that's right when Duluth was starting to get really good, too. So it's like, oh, okay. Well, those are tough teams. But, yeah, Bemidji, honestly, I think that's a promising result, all things considered. And I was kind of going into my stat of the week. I feel like one week it was face-offs, and then another week it was something else. This week I was looking at blocks for whatever reason. Luke Roloff's 4 blocks Friday, so that's Minnesotan. Shout out. And then just a couple other performers. Ben Strinden has been excellent for North Dakota here as of recently. I know he's not technically a Minnesotan. I think he's a Fargo but close enough.
Yeah.
Will Zellers
We count Danny Ehrman still. We'll count him.
Zellers and Strinden have both been great. So that's been good for UND fans. And then just some other guys, too, for North Dakota. Cole Reshny had 3 assists Friday. Ollie Josephson, I keep seeing his name popping up more and more here now, had a goal and 2 assists. And then Saturday, Will Zellers gets the overtime game-winning goal, but it was on a power play in overtime. On a holding call. It was the only power play, actually, the entire night for North Dakota Saturday, interestingly enough.
Well, they got a good high percentage then.
And Strinden's currently leading Bemidji State in scoring now, 17 points in 14 games. So he's kind of just having a great run here. Same with Zellers. So they're kind of really heating up here.
Zellers, 7 goals in 7 games.
I feel like, the last few weeks we've been reading his name off a lot.
I feel like we need to, when we do Summit scores, we just need to put red hot Will Zellers, because he is on fire right now.
And Bemidji State split its goalies this weekend, and North Dakota went with Jan Spunar, I think is how you say his name, all weekend. He's been kind of the guy, I feel like, who's been a little bit more of their go-to guy. I know they have some other good goalies, too, like Gibson Homer, I know, has played a chunk as well, but they played him all weekend. But otherwise, I think that's solid results for Bemidji, and I think they're kind of sneaky good. Like, not that many people are talking about them, but they've had promising results, and North Dakota's a good team, so I think that's... obviously you'd want to steal maybe a couple more. Well, not points because it's not a conference game, but
correct.
Maybe get an overtime win there. But I think that's a promising result.
Bemidji State kind of puts me in like one of the spots where I feel like they're a team that like you don't want to play, but you're not like super intimidated by right away. But
until it's 2-2 in the third period.
Exactly, and they're just grinding you down, and the puck is dumped in your zone again. Right. And, they're running the 1-3-1 again in the neutral zone,
Right. That's a good take. I like that. I feel like, the winner of the CCHA, there might be only one team from that league each year. So they're just grinding out. They want to be playing their best come playoff time, right?
Stuff I just learned just now from Wikipedia. That's
right.
Kurt Zeller's son.
Yes.
I used to work in politics.
Yes.
Kurt Zellers had designs on being our governor at one point.
Yes.
He was Speaker of the House in the good for him.
And also a defensive back for the Sioux in his day, too.
The who?
I'm sorry. The Fighting Sioux. Sorry, I screwed up. I didn't say the Sioux. I meant the Fighting Sioux.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Well, so that's what happened with Bemidji State this weekend and North Dakota. Minnesota played the
Clearly no more designs on being governor, by the way, if he's letting his kid go to school out of state.
Correct.
Just saying.
Correct.
Wow. Minnesota, like we said last week, played a 1-game game against Denver late Saturday. I want to say puck drop was like 8 p.m., so I would have probably watched this if it was earlier, but as Joey Memes clipped last week, I do not stay awake for late games.
No.
Clipped that last week, but that's a statement win. We said last week if they can beat Denver, that's a nice, good win to kind of get people back on the radar for Minnesota.
Regulation wins versus overtime wins just a minute ago?
Well, yeah, it'd be better to get the regulation win, but it's still nice, and I think it will get fans a little bit more kind of back into
fans
it after a rough kind of
fans definitely notice it.
Start.
I have more than 3 friends, but I have 3 friends of mine who live in Denver and were at the game separately. They were not together.
Okay.
And all of them sent me texts before the game, like a pregame picture. I'm like, yep, I know you live in Denver, and I know you're a Gopher fan. And then after the game, I got their videos of where they were when the games happen. I'm like, you don't work for YHH. You don't need to send me that. I'm good. I already saw it, But they were pretty excited about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They were
it's a
so
good win.
excited. They
It's a
got
good
to
win.
go to a
Well,
Gopher game.
number one, it was at Ball Arena, the
Yeah.
Avalanche Arena. Good crowd there.
Very good.
Very good crowd. It was the Hall of Fame game. So cool moment because now the MVP of the Hall of Fame game is named after Senator David Tomasoni, who passed away a couple years ago, a longtime senator from Chisholm, and played defense at Denver back in the day. So
Cool.
a lot of cool connections there. His family was there, and I know Buzz Schneider and some of those folks there, giving out the hardware. And, yeah, you're right. Statement win for the Gophers. I mean, after the mess that was November in a lot of ways and just all the struggles.
Long Island loss.
And I was just hearing, too, some people on Twitter said they honestly didn't think they played that amazing in the game. But even despite that, they're still able to come out with an overtime win. I think that's kind of saying something, too, even if you're like, I wasn't super impressed by how they played, but they still come out with the win. I think that's also pretty promising because it was 3-1 heading into the third. And then I was looking at the box score. There was like 6 goals scored in the third period.
It was insane.
Insane. And Minnesota, again, I know you hate shots on goal, Tony, but they were outshot like 52-25. So it was not really like super close stats-wise, but DePasqua was in net this time instead of Airy was in net kind of the games before that. And, of course, shout out Javon Moore with the overtime game winner. That's awesome.
I will say this. I feel like the win, it's a good win for the program. But I feel like DePasqua, he's the hot and cold goaltender. I think he's the kid who can win games for the Gophers, where Airy's the kind of the guy who's more of the steady Eddie. And I don't know which route they're going to go, but he was definitely hot on Saturday night.
Airy's going to give you the 85 overall every game.
Right.
As where DePasqua could be a 95 or could be a 78.
78, I agree.
Wow.
One of the great names in all of college hockey, by the way. Boston Buckburger. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
How is that
wild?
not like a sports bar somewhere?
Denver has good
sounds
names.
like
a
picked up some wings at Boston Buckburgers before the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, you got to, if you tried the Boston Buckburger?
2 goals for him, including the tying goal with 23 seconds left.
Yeah, that was a backbreaker, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the Gophers, too, Brody Lamb, a goal and 2 assists, and then a bunch of guys 1+1, Zemer, Mooney, Moore, all 1+1. Again, my block statistics for the week, Luke Middlestat, 6 blocks on the night.
Nice.
That's a lot.
Oh, boy.
Kuka.
So that's nice.
I asked Steve Bouillon today if he had made a wager with, Brock Faber or any of the Gopher
I doubt
guys.
it.
He said, yeah, none of them wanted to bet on their team.
Funny.
and then
Wow.
and he commented, too. He said, crazy game. He said, because the Wild were playing on Saturday night, so he didn't get to watch much of it. But he said, when I finally turned it on, it was 4-4. I look back like 1 minute later, and it's 5-5. And it's just,
Yeah, it's
A lot of
you
goals
don't
in the
expect
third.
11 goals between those two teams. But, hey, we talked about this last week. Cool to have Denver and Minnesota playing again.
It is.
Yeah.
Great historic rivalry. Cool that they're in an NHL building, that they get a good crowd. It helps the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. So
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
I saw this and I knew this, but I wish I would have posted it myself. Jeff Lamb, Brody's dad, played at Denver, so he got to play against his dad's former.
cool.
And then who are the
score.
brothers? There's a set of brothers.
With the Whipple brothers.
The Whipple
they took a
brothers,
picture
Alec
together.
Whipple
Yep.
and who's the kid?
John.
John.
Yep.
There's a lot of Whipples, and he's John. He's John the Third, I think. So,
Javon Moore, by the way, I just thought of this because Wild playing Buffalo the other night, and Kyle Oposo was there. Kyle Oposo, I believe, was the first player with African-American descent to play for the Gophers. Played there for a year and a half. Now Javon Moore, obviously a very talented African-American player. And then, who's it, Maceo Phillips coming next year. So
Yeah.
getting a little more diversity on the Gophers roster, which is a cool thing for some people. Seeing more, hockey is for everyone. We always say that. And
yeah, I'm trying to think. So really, Oposo was the first African.
Oposo was from what I can tell, the first African American to play for the Gophers. And he's only there a year and a half. You remember big controversy that the Islanders lured him away mid-season. He had a nice NHL career. Ended it with a Stanley Cup, which is not a bad way to end your career.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so more this year. And then I've talked to Maceo Phillips, a hugely talented kid.
Yeah,
He'll be there next year.
he plays with a lot of passion.
Yep.
Well,
Gopher fans are gonna love Maceo.
yeah.
And I mean, nothing to dislike about
Nothing to
dislike about Javon Moore. I mean, man, what a player.
You were like, What was your quote? This goal was powered by Diesel.
Diesel
Oh,
power.
I
I
was
love
wondering
that.
who tweeted that.
I love
I
that.
tweeted that
Like-
because that was his nickname as a little kid.
I was
Well,
gonna
that's-
say too. By the time the game was over, I was definitely asleep, so I didn't.
Well,
know.
Yeah,
and-
so I said this goal was diesel powered because everybody, when he was a kid, he had his jacket said diesel. Everyone called him diesel, and no one's called him diesel since he's about 12, right? So whenever I see him, I call him diesel. He's like, oh God, I knew you were gonna say
Yeah.
that. You always call me that, you know.
Leon Hayward, assistant coach at St. Thomas.
He's
you know,
diesel too. I'm gonna call him diesel.
Diesel, but another African American player and now coach.
Grew up in Seattle.
I one of my better lines, I thought I had him on a podcast once. I said, "Well, your story is pretty typical. As a route to college hockey in Boston, an African American kid from Seattle, of all places, winds up playing at Northeastern. So
He went to prep school in Boston.
yeah,
Yeah, I did a biography with him, and Leon are good buddies, and I would say he's one of few college coaches that does listen to the show because he'll make quotes like, "You thought this? I can't believe you said that." And so always good to have.
you know what's
Leon
great is
in the
when
mix.
you get coaches who claim they don't. I
Listen, I
don't
don't
read.
listen.
I don't read any of that. No, I don't listen.
Don't
to that.
listen to the media.
And then just out of nowhere, they'll throw something back in your face, like through. Oh, wait a minute! I thought
Oh,
you.
yeah, I mean-
I thought you didn't read anything.
I was the gopher hater last year, and finally Ben Gordon snapped, and he goes, "Would you guys just quit picking again? Would you quit picking against us, or whatever?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm sorry, it's a shtick. I got to go with it." Stick
Ben
with it.
Yeah.
Ben reads everything, by the way, just so you know.
I know. He's a good man. He's a good man.
Gordo's the best.
Well, some other stats from the game for Denver. You already said Boston Buckberger, one of the great names, 2 goals. Samu Salminen, also a great name, 2 goals. James Reeder, 3 assists, cool to see. And Eric Polkamp, Minnesotan, had a goal in the game and also a huge hit. I believe it was on Beckett Hendrickson that I saw the clip of. Had a nice
Yeah.
big check there. He's having another good year, obviously one of the top defenders and putting up a lot of points as well. So that's cool. And then CCHA game here. Minnesota State plays Northern Michigan. Nothing too crazy. Sweep 4-0 and 3-2. Nothing super crazy. Friday, Evan Murr, though, 3 assists. That's
Well, he's
another.
also their
Were those
leading goal
games
scorer,
in
too.
Mankato or were they up on the UP?
I think they were up north.
I can check
I don't
that.
remember. You're going to have to check that. But Evan Murr, 3 assists. Liam Watkins, 2 power play goals. And then Zetterberg and Lemire, both a goal. Shots on goal were pretty even for the most part. But
Oh.
Mankato wins 4-0.
Those 2 games were in Marquette.
Yeah.
The reason I bring this up, they got roughly 812 inches of snow last weekend. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I have friends who live in Marquette.
Holy smokes.
I have friends who live in Marquette who went down to Detroit for the holiday weekend. They went to a Red Wings game and stuff. They said they got back, and just to get in their driveway, they were surprised the airbags didn't go off. There was such a snowbank.
I believe it.
So,
I believe it.
Wow.
that must have been a fun trip for the Mavs, getting there and back.
Yeah.
home.
Yeah. It's a long drive to Marquette. Anyway,
Regardless, yeah.
it's a good 7 hours on dry pavement.
Add in
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably
Highway
going
2.
half speed.
all the way home.
The nice thing about the UP, though, especially the Western UP, Houghton, Marquette, those towns. First time I ever went there was in February. I went to Winter Carnival at
Of course
Michigan
you
Tech.
did.
It was,
Yeah.
I drove there from Duluth. Well, the nice thing about by the time you get to February, it's like the ending scene in Star Wars. Like you're driving down a tunnel, like
Yeah,
or a,
I-
like a
I know
trench,
exactly what you're
basically.
talking
There, because there are literally snowbanks that are 10 to 15 feet high on both sides of the road. So here's the great part: even if you spin out, you're not going in the ditch.
No.
You
It's like-
couldn't
it's-
get
it's
you
like
couldn't get to the ditch
bumpers.
with a bulldozer.
It's
Nature's
bumpers.
airbag.
Yeah.
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 I say if you spin out, I know this from experience.
Right. Yeah. Debbie's dad's from Hurley, Wisconsin, which is
Oh, yeah,
right next
right
to
in that snow belt. Yep.
Holy smokes. Like there'd be like a one level like Rambler. The snow is all
yeah.
the way to the top
Yep.
of the roof.
Yep.
Like they would have to start digging out so they could see out the windows.
And you've seen those pictures where like they open the front door and there's just a wall of
Yeah.
snow there.
The
you know.
door imprint
Yeah,
is in the
with the-
snow.
Yeah, we don't know
Right there.
anything about that lifestyle here in the Twin Cities.
Well, not anymore, it feels like, but
Don't jinx it.
Western New York, they get a lot of that.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah, the lake
Oswego
effects.
and Buffalo
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Rochester, those towns, a lot of snow there. So
And Toronto, I bet too.
yeah,
All right.
Duluth even,
Wow,
you know, the
snow
winds go the other
Got-
way.
Duluth's got it coming both ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Anyway.
bad.
That was a snow tangent.
Yes.
Saturday, 3-2. Bryce Strand, Tristan Lemire, Jack Smith all score. That is Bryce Strand's first collegiate goal. He's Luke's son, so that's kind of cool.
Very cool.
So he got his first one. And Northern Michigan, Tony stays defeated, I think, as you said last
They
week.
are. They're
0-16.
Oh my God.
A little rough. I know
Their
they're
schedule.
still
What do they got-
under.
what do they got coming up?
I think they're still under,
No
a lot of
hope.
new
Tough.
recruits.
I was going to
and
say this is half
new
expected.
staff, but
Tough December because they
Right?
go to Bowling Green, then they got St.
you'd want to
Thomas
take
coming to
maybe
town.
a win or two out of your schedule so far.
You definitely would like a couple, but
Maybe not a lot, but maybe just like one or two.
I'll
you
say
know,
this,
who's the new
though.
head coach again?
Dave Shayak.
Shayak.
Dave
Shayak.
Shayak. They're not laying down in the non-conference schedule. Look at October at Massachusetts,
Yeah.
Yeah, Colorado
at
College,
Ohio
too, right?
State, Colorado College at home, Michigan State at home. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're not loading up on Stonehill,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
It's the opposite of Penn State.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
And they're not. I mean,
She
they're,
said it, by
They're
the way.
losing, but they're not.
I don't care.
They're not getting blown out of the building every night.
I have a note about that later on, but yeah. So that's kind of the first 3 series here. Tony, do you want to talk about the USHL?
You want to hear a weird history connection
moment.
here?
Let's hear it.
Dave Shayak is a former coach at Alaska Anchorage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before him, John Hill was the coach at Alaska Anchorage. The last time I remember a team going winless for a season was
John Hill's
was
team.
John Hill at
Yeah.
Alaska Anchorage. Well, now maybe there's a connection. These teams that wear green and gold and are coached by Dave Shayak. I don't know.
Yeah.
Although, in fairness, it wasn't Shayak's team that went winless. It was.
I
John
don't
Hill's
think
team.
they'll go
John
winless this year either.
No, I don't
they'll
think
get
so
one
either. I mean,
soon.
I'm looking
I
at their
think they'll get
schedule.
one.
Well, they're halfway home.
They've played a lot of close games. They just
Well, that's what I'm
haven't
saying. Is like they've.
gotten the dub.
I mean, I think their biggest.
I keep saying I
loss-
watched the CC game. They went to overtime too, and I don't think they played like bad necessarily in that game. So
Their biggest loss is a 4-goal loss.
Yeah, it's not like they're getting
No, they're not getting
blown out of the.
they're not
I mean,
getting-
you know,
Teens put on them.
they lost by 4 goals to Michigan State twice. I mean, and Michigan State at the time was ranked number 1 in the country.
Yeah.
So
they're not playing bad. They're just not getting
Yeah.
wins really. Yeah.
No. a
I
4-goal
don't know.
loss to Bemidji, a couple of them 4-goal loss to Mankato.
Yeah.
Close game with Minnesota State. Their last game out, had a lead, slipped away. You know.
Slipped away.
It's probably flipping to the point now where you got these guys coming up on your schedule, and you're like, well, I don't want it to be their first win.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's motivation.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let's do a quick shout out to the USHL. It's fun to have them as a sponsor of the show because there's so many great things happening with the USHL. Did you guys talk about the whole USHL buying the naming rights for?
We've talked about
We
this.
did
yeah,
on
yeah.
that.
The
Yeah,
North
we-
American Junior.
We
Hockey
talked
League?
about it 2 weeks ago, and we're going to record tomorrow a new episode
That's
with a lot of
huge.
news in it. But
And there was a guy, I think I sent you the TikTok or whatever it was. This guy saying that they might take the league and split it in half. So they might take the haves and the have-nots, and they would have this new league
In the USHL?
In the U.S., and it would be called the North. What's it going to be called? What?
I don't know. It
what's
was
the
a while
they bought
ago,
a
and when
copyright called
we-
North
yeah, when we
North-
talked about it, it sounded like it was not.
North American Junior Hockey.
It
League or
wasn't
the-
super close to happening yet. Like they're talking
Yeah.
about it, but there's a lot of things that would have to happen for it. Like we were talking about some of them on the show. If you want to get into all of it, but there's a lot of
potential.
things and rules and little tiny details that would need to
Yeah.
get figured out
Well,
How many teams in that league?
14,
USHL?
I think.
in the USHL.
14.
Yeah.
Well, are you counting like the NTDP and
Yeah.
stuff? Because then
Yep.
that's
Yeah, because they play a league schedule.
14. I think it's 14.
That's really some good hockey, though.
Yeah, really good hockey.
16.
yeah. I want to
16?
say it's 16 in the standings.
Some great hockey, and talk about moving players on to the next level, not just to college, but to the pros, first round picks.
I was amazed, not last year, but the year before, 2024, I covered the final 2 games of the Clark Cup Finals, Fargo and Dubuque, down in Dubuque.
Yeah,
You know, Dubuque, Iowa, number 1, great town.
Yeah.
You know, cool history
For
right on
hockey,
the river. Yeah. And you go into their rink, and it's a great rink, and they get big crowds there, and then you're looking at, like, some of the guys that have played there. Oh, my God.
I know.
It's just Dubuque, Iowa, of all places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You could go on and on.
Yeah.
Same about Cedar Rapids and Des Moines. And
Yeah.
That's why
one after another.
I like that it's a draft instead of the college framework.
Recruiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the draft does make it fair, right?
I think junior hockey without a draft would almost be impossible. Would it?
Right.
you
Oh,
know?
they used to do it the other way. There was players they used to recruit way back in the 80s. They would recruit their players.
Yep.
They would recruit them out of high school. Yeah, you'll come play for me.
There was that weird kind of territorial thing they had,
Yeah,
too.
the territorial.
Like certain teams had rights to certain high schools.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
this
sure.
because growing up where I did,
Johnson was recruiting guys
Yeah.
when he was coaching at Lincoln even.
growing up where I did, for some reason, Warroad guys always wound up with the Madison Capitals.
Yeah.
So like I would go to games at Wisconsin and like all these guys I know had lived there and had played there for the Caps back in the day.
Well, thanks to USHL for their sponsorship, and we'll continue to talk about those guys throughout the show, throughout the year. So
You can't talk college hockey without talking USHL.
really
Let's
can't.
face it. I mean, they're
hand in hand.
first cousins.
They are. All right, let's keep rolling.
Moving on, big split plus for St. Thomas with Michigan Tech. They take a 3-3 shootout win and then a 2-1 regular win. So that's pretty big for them because Michigan Tech, a lot of people were pretty high on, but
That's 5 points, right?
let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah,
5 out of 6 points. That's a good weekend for St. Thomas.
Yep. So that's obviously really good because we were kind of high on Michigan Tech, but then they didn't do super great against Mankato or St. Thomas. So I feel like they've kind of fallen
Yeah.
a bit now in public perception.
Definitely
Still a good team, but
Definitely not a top 20 team at this point.
yeah,
Gopher weekend is
still
getting
decent,
further and further
but-
away.
Yeah.
Right.
But Friday,
Tough stretch for the Huskies. They're 0-3-1 in their last
Right.
4.
yeah, Tommies. I mean, they were down.
We saw a little purple rain.
Oh, I see what you did there. Sure. Yeah.
The Tommies were down 2-0, and then they tied it up going into the third, which was kind of interesting. Lucas Van Vliet, I think is how you say his name. He had the extra attacker goal with like literally, I think it was 1.2 seconds or something. So that was interesting. And then Lucas Wallen was also ejected in the game for slew footing. So there was a lot of
Nice.
things happening. There's a video of it if you find it.
Really?
Some account was like, this guy's playing dirty or something. And some Mankato, or not, maybe a Mankato, I don't remember. Some fan account from a different team was
It's always those fan accounts.
Look at this. I don't remember. But St. Thomas outshot Tech by a little bit. Carson Musser was in net for that game as well. So APX athletes shout out. And then Van Vliet also got the shootout winner as well. So he had kind of a big game that night. Nick Williams also scored in that game. So
Yeah.
it's
Can
cool
I
to
ask a
see.
question? I mentioned Leon Hayward and Rico, if you're listening, Rico Blasi. What's going on with their goalies? I don't understand. Like
Yeah, there's
like
switching
Will
ones
Ingeman
this last
plays both games of a weekend, and then we haven't seen him since. And I know they've had some injuries and whatever, but I just three-headed goalie monster
and then
there. But it just
Musser
seems like
played
there's
Friday.
no
Aaron Trotter plays Saturday.
right. There's no order to it. There's no logic to it.
I think it's nice to have 3 goalies, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's
I think they're going to just find the one they like by
interesting.
the end.
Let me just say this too. Here's what I wonder about St. Thomas going up to Michigan Tech and doing as well as they did. Michigan Tech obviously is a legacy program.
Absolutely.
1960s best team in college hockey. Even up to the 70s, they've been much better lately after a couple decades of kind of dropping off. When I was at Minnesota Duluth, St. Cloud State was just kind of coming online as a program.
Yep.
I was there late 80s, early 90s. One of the low moments I remember in Bulldog hockey during my time
They
there,
lost to them.
St. Cloud comes up to Duluth for a 2-game series, and the Huskies sweep. And it's like, wait a minute.
We're
You know,
UMD.
This is UMD. And granted, UMD hadn't won a national title at the time, but they'd won WCHA titles. They'd sent guys to the NHL. Who are these guys
Up to
from Stearns County who got here like 20 minutes ago? And that was like a tough pill to swallow. I kind of wonder, St. Thomas, who's relatively
and now
new on the
St. Thomas
scene.
sweeps St. Cloud State this year.
Yeah. Going up. Yeah.
circle.
It's who are they? And there's some history here because late 90s, Tim Waters, longtime NHLer, was the coach at Michigan Tech, was doing okay, not great. MSU Mankato, who nobody in the UP had ever heard of before, comes up there like in October, third weekend of the season, something like that, sweeps the Huskies, and Tim Waters was fired like the next day.
Stop it.
And somebody told me, like, okay, they can handle losing to the Gophers, they can handle losing to Wisconsin. When a team nobody's ever heard of comes to town
Gas 'em.
and beats this legacy program like Michigan Tech, the locals can't handle that. And I just, not that, first-year coach at Tech is in any kind of trouble, but I just wonder how that sits with the psyche of, like, who is St. Thomas? They just showed up, and now they're coming into our building and winning games.
I think people, smart hockey people, see the brand of player that they're bringing in. They're getting a lot of top end talent. Now this Van Vliet, he's a NTDP kid.
Yeah, and I want to say he's a Golden Knights draft pick as well.
Right. So these are not bad hockey players that St. Thomas has.
He had a really big weekend too. He had a shorthanded goal Saturday, so he just had a huge weekend, and not a Minnesotan, and I feel like St. Thomas recruits a lot of Minnesotans, so that's a nice.
I like what Leon's done with the recruiting there. He's got a nice little mix of Canadians and Americans, but still 75% of the roster is probably Minnesotans.
Well, and I've talked about this too before when they played St. Cloud. I really loved watching Alex Gaffney, who came in from Harvard, and now he's just having he's far and away leading the Tommies in scoring right now.
What a great pickup.
And when I watched him, that dude was just a pest on the forecheck. He was super
good balance.
He was very noticeable to watch.
A fire hydrant.
As someone who had never heard of him before he transferred to St. Thomas, which is crazy.
I have a friend who's a hockey guy. He's a Minnesota guy, but he went to Notre Dame.
Yeah. And
he always said the great failing of Notre Dame hockey was you go to Montreal, you go to Laval, Quebec, all French Canadian, and it's about 95% Catholic there. He's like, how are we not getting the best guys out of Quebec every year? Hey, Tommy's just a little idea.
Go recruit Quebec.
Little thought, you got
not a bad idea.
Nice, daily mass and chapel right on campus.
Not a bad plug.
Well, Saturday, shots were pretty close. It was a 2-1 win. Again, we switched up the goalies, so Aaron Trotter was in net for the regulation win. So it was a Gaffney power play goal and then a shorthanded goal from Van Vliet. So that was kind of the win there. Michigan Tech does have some good players, though. Steven Sardarian Friday had 2 goals and an assist. He's kind of like one of their
rolling
top guys that everybody knows. So he's definitely a good player. They're still a good team, but obviously that's good for the Tommies to get as many points as they can out of a good team like Tech.
That's a good series for
especially for the CCHA standings.
In their final kick at the can in CCHA.
Steven Sardarian, by the way, transferred from New Hampshire. He's in his second year at Michigan Tech. From St. Petersburg, Russia. And Steven, Stiven.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, interesting spelling. Okay.
Thank you.
Other CCHA game, Augustana splits with Lake Superior State. Really not anything. That's
the most boring series ever.
It was. I was looking at the box scores and just nothing was jumping out at me. It was a 2-1 loss and a 2-1 win. Nothing too crazy with shots or penalties. I guess no Minnesota scorers, but Bushy and Batchelder each had an assist Friday for Lake State. Same thing Saturday, no Minnesotan scorers, but Hayden Hennon and Hunter Bischoff each had an assist. Otherwise, there's really not a ton of stuff to write home about.
6 goals. We got
120 minutes of hockey, you got 6 goals.
6 goals.
Wow.
And honestly, if you're Augustana, you would have really wanted to sweep that. Yeah. So that's not... They're kind of confusing right now.
They're
too,
like a 4-5 team.
When they look on, I'm really impressed by Augustana, and then they have these kind of other results that I'm like,
come playoffs, I swear they're going to end up in either the 4 or the 5 slot.
They're not like super clunkery losses. They're just not great results all the time. So it's a little.
Well, they still got a great result.
Kind of hot and cold.
The road win, if you get more points for road win at UMD is going to equal a lot.
Well, they've had some really good wins, too. Then they just have some weekends where I don't know if they're just off or just, I don't know.
They got swept by Bemidji, though, didn't they? I think they did.
I think they just had a couple losses, that have not been super great. And then St. Cloud was off and Minnesota Duluth were off this weekend. So,
top scorer for the...
that would be your guys' alma maters, by the way.
Yeah,
top scorer for the Vikings, by the way. Leonid Bulgakov?
Because if you're talking about the Minnesota Vikings...
He's from Belarus.
From Belarus?
He played in the NAL. I want to say he played for the Aberdeen Wings.
6 goals, 5 assists in 12 games, so almost a point per game for him.
Didn't he play for the Aberdeen Wings? Shout out.
I'll go with that, sure. Aberdeen Wings, absolutely. Go Null.
Belarus. Shout out. I always remember that name for whatever
reason. And it looks like Josh Kotai, junior goalie out of Abbotsford, has played every game for the...
he's their guy.
So
he's good, though.
So the Vikings, one of those teams that we just don't want to think about goaltending. We'll just, they're the opposite of St. Thomas.
Just stick them out there. Kotai, you're in.
You got pads, right? Okay, yeah.
You're in.
Go ahead.
Before we get to other notables, might as well throw out there our other sponsor, APX. Obviously, go check out my stories. I got my gear on today.
Fully geared out.
APX-hockey.com for your training, development, advising needs. I don't have any specific college players to mention, but we did have Another commitment yesterday, and Riley's up for committing to Notre Dame, so that was a big one. Shout out. He's playing in Des Moines right now, the USHL, so I'm sure I'll try to talk with him soon. Also trying to talk to Teddy Lechner soon this week for his commitment.
Is Riley a APX kid?
He is, yes.
Oh, that's really good.
2 mentions of Notre Dame already, but this is exactly what the new coaching staff has wanted to do, is keep that kind of little pipeline they've got. It seems like half of Maple Grove has gone to Notre Dame
More than half.
Yeah, last few years. So
here's a good story. I was doing a Prep Elite League game down in Mariucci, and this kid's, I'm like, hey, can you come here for a second? And he goes, come over. He's got a Notre Dame sweatshirt on, and he's buddies with Sammy Nelson. He's kind of that age, probably a junior in high school. And I'm like, even the kids who don't go to Notre Dame, that are buddies with the guys that are either at Notre Dame or future Notre Dame, they consider themselves Notre Dame fans. So they're all Notre Dame fans in Maple Grove.
For people who haven't been there, I grew up in that era when Lou Holtz left the Gophers to go to Notre Dame, so I hated Notre Dame.
I still do.
And for years, all this Notre Dame hype about football, and I was always thinking, okay, some little Catholic school in the middle of nowhere, rural Indiana. Like, I've been to St. John's, I've been to these. I went to Notre Dame's campus for the first time in, mid-2000s, something like that. Oh, wow. I mean,
it's beautiful.
It's a cool place. And, the mystique and the, Touchdown Jesus and the Golden Dome and all of it, I mean, it lives up to the hype. It is a really cool campus. It is it's a small school too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's smaller than like UMD or St. Cloud or any of those. It's a relatively small school for their national profile.
Very difficult to get into that school.
So, talking to Brock Faber's parents about the fact that he went there when he was 14 and they made an offer, and it's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, how do you say no to that? And eventually he decided he wanted to play closer to home, wound up being a Gopher. Logan Cooley, same thing. I mean, if you can get kids to that campus, I think kids have a pretty tough time saying no. And Notre Dame, much like BYU, much like some other schools, is a national school. I mean, there are Notre Dame fans in every corner of the country, partially because of their faith, but because it's a high-profile school and people have seen them on TV. And
I think it's definitely because of football. Just the history of it.
Steve Rollick has talked about this. Being at Ohio State with their profile football, he said, I can go into any house in North America, and they've seen the Buckeyes before. Same with Notre Dame, same with Michigan. Football is the front window.
It definitely helps. Yeah. I just wish they wouldn't wear football-styled helmets. That would be
Don't think you're going to win that
episode for another day. Yeah.
Also, go check it out, apx-hockey.com.
If you make that trip, by the way, South Bend, CJ's, downtown South Bend, the best burger in Big Ten hockey country. Oh,
like it.
Jess should write a book on
some great
hockey travel.
Great Notre Dame memorabilia all over the walls. In fact, Pete Bursich, the Vikings radio guy, I found a picture of him, so I said it to him. I'm like, hey, you're still famous here in South Bend.
He is.
Nice.
He is.
Some other notables on the weekend. Some notable performances. Killian Kicker, is that how you say his name? Kicker Olsen. 3-goal weekend for Canisius.
He was line mate with Tyler Rowagon in the Machine days.
There we go.
3-goal weekend for Canisius. One was shorthanded on the breakaway. That was a nice one. Saw that one on Twitter. And he also scored in, I want to say it was like was it a shootout? I don't remember. I think it was against Air Force. So he had a big weekend for them. Kept seeing his name in the box scores. I was like, that's a Minnesotan right there.
Yep. KKO.
Quentin Sigurdsson with another win for Northeastern with their main goalie injured. It was a 4-1 win over Brown. I don't know what's up with their goalie or how long he's out, because that guy was having like a really good year and then all of a sudden he's out. So I don't know what's up with their main starter.
Kind of a goalie factory in Northeastern, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what's up with their main goalie or how long he's out or that type of thing, but cool to see. Army West Point had a big win over UMass. Randomly, that was a big one, 5-4. That was kind of disappointing for UMass fans because it was Michael Robles' first game back after being injured for a while, their goalie, and then he did not look super good. I think he played a majority of the game and gave up, I want to say, 4 or 5 of the goals. So didn't look super great. So that's obviously not maybe what you were hoping for on his return. The Friendship 4 was played this weekend in Belfast. Miami, Ohio wins it with wins over RIT and Union.
Is anybody surprised?
It was not a super competitive.
This is what I love about this. The Friendship Four has been going on for 10, 15 years.
Has it really?
Yes, but before this year, they had never invited a team from outside Hockey East or the ECAC. It was totally an East Coast thing. Well, I love the fact that they finally invited an NCHC school and they win it. So there's organizers out on the East Coast going, wait a minute, whose idea was it to let these guys in?
Well, and they took a team from the NCHC, right?
Right.
That was the other.
I'm
thing.
sure they thought with years prior they're going to be like, oh,
Oxford,
it's Miami,
Ohio
it'll
isn't
be...
in the Wild West, but
No, it's not.
Isn't North Dakota playing in it in the future?
Minnesota Duluth is playing in it next year.
Yeah, I want to say they've been rotating, so there will be.
Yeah, so
some more...
they're expanding the field a little bit.
Yeah. But I kept looking on what games are on today as I was setting up kind of my house I was having family over Friday for a second Thanksgiving. And I was like, what games are on this morning? And I was like, oh, there's I want to say it was 9 a.m. or noon or something. I'm like, why is this game so early? I'm like, oh, it's the Friendship Four game. That's why.
Yeah, Minnesota Duluth women are playing in Ireland this year, and then the men are playing there next year. So if you're a Bulldog fan in Ireland,
that'd be fun if you're on the team though to go take that trip and play games over there. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely
fun to do. So Miami wins that. Will Horkoff currently leading the nation in goals. I thought that was notable. We talked about obviously some Hobie candidates in the past. That could be one. He currently has
got to be
16 goals in 17 games. So that's pretty notable.
Okay,
and we know Michigan. Jess, if you want to read your
I'm gonna throw my stat out there now.
Michigan.
Now I have to find it. But Michigan, if anybody was questioning whether or not Michigan is for real this year, and they're ranked number 1 in the country, and they've got some great goaltending. I'm going to give Yost Built at Yost Built. It's a Michigan
shout out
fan site. Yeah. They got good stuff. They threw this out there. They said, "I know." Okay, I'm going to read word for word their post on X. I know there's a wide discrepancy in the number of games played across the nation. However, the difference in goals for between number 1 in the country, Michigan, with 92 goals, and number 2, Bemidji State, with 60 goals. That's a 32-goal difference, okay, between number 1 and number 2. The difference between number 1 and number 2 is the same as the difference between number 2, Bemidji State, with 60 goals, and number 55, Alaska, with 28 goals. Think about that.
Basically the rest of the country.
Yeah, so it's Michigan, and this is like that line from Moneyball. It's like Michigan, and then there's 50 feet of crap.
If you had a chart that had 1 for each goal, it would be 1 way up here, and then you'd have to scroll way down.
Yeah,
to
yeah. You're not crap if you're second place or beyond, but it just shows. We always knew Michigan could score. The fact that they have a really good goalie this year that came from the Ontario Hockey League. Welcome to the new world again. Makes them absolutely fearsome. Now, much like the NCHC, the Big Ten schedule is a flipping meat grinder. Bob Motzko talks about this. Everybody's, the top 3 teams in the country right now are Big Ten teams, and then Penn State's at number 9. Well, now they'll start just beating each other up, and then you see what that does to the.
It's gonna be a lot of splits.
NPI, RPI, whatever you want to call it.
A lot of splits.
Yeah.
So Will Horkoff currently the nation's leading goal scorer, and obviously he'll be on people's radar. And he's also a really tall guy too, so obviously everybody's watching.
Talked to him at the summer showcase too. Great kid. Kind of joked about the fact that he's all maize and blue now, and of course his dad played at Michigan State. So
right.
So he said, my dad cheers for me, but he'll never cheer. He said he'll never wear anything maize and blue.
Another team that's been looking really good lately, we never know what to think of the Ivies when it's early on because they don't play as many games, but Dartmouth looking really good. They're 8-0 right now, so watch out for Big Green. Watch out for Big Green.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Nothing super crazy. Super crazy wins yet, but they're 8-0. So
Clarkson.
Yeah, they have a couple solid ones. No crazy wins yet, but solid wins.
Beat Cornell.
8-0 is something, though. It's not crazy, but it's good.
Again, when people say, yeah, but who have they played? Here's who they played. The team's on their schedule. Kids can't control that.
I get that. But let's not put them in the top 10 yet.
You played.
They're not top 10 yet, but they are good. Watch out for Big Green.
No, I'll give them credit for that.
One game I randomly did watch because it was on Wednesday, Stonehill UConn, or Thursday night. I don't know. I think it was Wednesday night. Stonehill beat UConn in a shootout. It was a very random game. I thought it was going to be all UConn in that game. I turn it on, and then Stonehill is
UConn's off to a nice start
playing
too.
And Minnesota Teddy Lagerback scored one of the shootout goals. So that was pretty cool for them. Penn State.
They're 1-13-1.
Stonehill. Yeah, so that was a big game for them. And then I wanted to make a note about the Penn State thing. They didn't play this last weekend. The last game they played was against the Gophers that we talked about, November 21-22. They're now off until January 3rd and 4th. And guess who they're playing in that series?
Gophers.
RIT.
RIT.
So they're going to not play for like a month and a half and then play RIT and then play Minnesota again. So I don't know.
Maybe
like why?
Maybe you want to work in like an inter squad scrimmage there or something like that.
Yeah, like there's
exhibition.
Get the legs stretched a little bit.
That's like a month and a half of nothing. Like why? I feel like there's no benefit for that.
Penn State, oddly, going back to the COVID year, 2020, when everything shut down,
Right.
So Penn State won the Big Ten that year. This
is the year they did not finish the season. That
correct.
Year? Okay,
this is the year the Detroit
they won the Big Ten.
Detroit Frozen Four. So they win the Big Ten. And as the Big Ten champion, you get a bye in the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
But, because it's an unbalanced schedule, one team is off every weekend. So as the schedule fell, Penn State didn't play the final weekend of the regular season because they were the team that was off. Then they had a bye the following weekend.
That's
so
right.
if they would have played round 2 of the Big Ten playoffs, the Gophers were headed to Penn State to play a one-game playoff against a Penn State team that hadn't played a game in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So for as up and down as that Gopher team was, Bob Motzko to this day says, hey, I like our chances. Going in there, coming off a playoff series win, going into a building versus a
playoff series win. Remember those?
Yep. Actually, it was a 3-game playoff because they played Notre Dame. They lost the first one. They won Saturday and Sunday. So, the Gophers were on a little bit of a momentum. Penn State, for as good as they were sitting there.
One game.
In a one-gamer. I had plans on going, and literally like 48 hours before the game, we get a call, hey, not only are we not going, the entire season's canceled, Frozen Four's canceled, everything.
Everything is canceled.
Such a weird time.
That was really weird.
One of the worst stories to come out of that.
There are a lot.
Colorado College is on the bus on its way to Grand Forks.
Oh, Lord. Are they like in Colorado?
No. They flew into MSP, and they're like, I want to say Alexandria, roughly.
Yeah.
On 94, heading up to Grand Forks, and they get a call on the cell phone. Oh, by the way, you should turn around. The entire season's been canceled. And think of the seniors on that team.
Season's over.
Your season's over. Your career's over. Go home.
Have a nice day.
Brutal.
There's probably some
turn
good
your bags in when you get back.
Stories about the COVID cancellation because I think St. Cloud was set to play Kalamazoo, so I always kind of wondered if they were already or set to play Western Michigan in Kalamazoo. So I don't know if they were already
there
on the bus,
I did
on the way because that was a
piece
last
that year.
minute.
The Gopher softball team was in Hawaii. Having breakfast, and they got word, by the way, the rest of the tournament's canceled, the rest of the season's canceled.
Might as
Have
well.
a nice trip home.
I was going to say, might as well stay in your hotel.
Yeah, and they said the weirdest thing was they got back to MSP, and it was like a ghost town. They're one of the very rare flights coming in.
Yep.
Another fun story. I don't know how we got on this, but it was me.
Gopher softball team.
It's always me. Sampo Ranta, playing for the Gophers at the time. Season gets canceled, and they're like, you can go home. He was from Finland. He said, and he got back to Finland, and I got a hold of him on WhatsApp and actually did a story. He got a flight to JFK, and he got literally the last flight out going to Finland. And it was like a 747. I don't know what, SAS or whatever.
He's probably the only one.
Huge plane. There were 7 people on it.
Oh.
What if he doesn't make that flight?
You talk about having your own row. He had like his own 50 rows.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but what happens if he didn't make it?
I don't know.
Oof.
Stuck in New York, maybe. Because, remember, planes weren't flying. I mean, there was no public transportation going on.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Scary.
Weird time.
That's another great name too.
Sampo Ranta?
Yeah.
It is.
I think he's still playing. He was in the Avalanche system for a little while, but went back to his
Another great one.
native Europe to play there. Yeah.
Well, kind of on a different tangent, I thought we should mention that the preliminary roster for the World Juniors this winter was released today, a couple hours ago. So a couple Minnesotans on there. Nothing.
Couple? There's 8.
There's 8. We'll see. They still have to make a couple of cuts, so that's not the official.
But I would say is it fair to say that the 3 goalies are safe?
I'd assume so, unless
if you're carrying 25
unless
people,
they're gonna
you better have
swap
3
in
goalies.
somebody random. But I assume that's the 3. Yeah.
I would not feel comfortable having 2 goalies on a roster for how many games are they going to play?
A lot.
Exactly. Anything can happen.
Right?
Yeah.
I agree. So So I would say the goalies are locked.
Yeah.
AJ Riles, congratulations.
Yep.
Was he at the showcase? this
I
summer?
don't think he was.
I
he was
I don't think it
either.
was. I think it was Heil and was Cam Hendrickson at the showcase
He
this
might
summer?
have
Yeah,
been.
I
Notre
believe he
Dame
was.
goalie, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Kempf and then
Cam's at
Heil.
UConn. So yeah, I don't think Riles was. So he must have been an ad recently.
That's a good ad. He's had a great start to the. You know, else who could have been in there? Carter Casey could have been mentioned in there too.
Yeah, that
I
would
think it
have
would
been
have been
cool
a
to see,
little bit awkward though. Bob bringing
Yeah.
too.
his
Yeah,
future
maybe he
goaltender
can't
in
do
as his
that.
third
Yeah.
goal. That'd probably be
Maybe
a
he
bad
can't
move.
do that.
Still eligible for next year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
He's
he'll-
in
Yeah.
07.
He'll be
He'll be in the run.
He's got
in the
plenty of
mix
time.
next year.
Plenty
Yeah,
of time.
maybe a little young compared to some of these
But
other ones.
keep going. I know all of them because we've been because it's being held here.
Yeah.
They're gonna
I mean,
they're gonna
Logan-
use all of our photographs of all of the Minnesota kids.
Logan
for their
Hensler and
promotion
Adam
stuff.
Kleber, those are pretty typical ones.
Yep.
Names everybody knows. Jacob Kwasnika.
Kwasnicka.
Well, why does everyone say different every 5 seconds?
It's been Kwasnicka ever since I've known him.
Okay.
I just call him Quaz.
Okay.
Quaz too,
Quaz
right?
man, the
Everybody says it
Quazder.
different.
All right.
Brendan McMorrow,
Shorty.
LJ Mooney,
Mm-hmm.
Max Plant. So a lot of Gophers. I know LJ's not a Minnesotan, but
Right.
Brody Zemer.
Yep. There's 4 Minnesota forwards, 2D and 2 goals.
Two
Two
current,
goalies, yep.
two current Gophers, one future Gopher.
Yep.
You can read about that in the Pioneer Press.
Sure.
All right.
Some notable omissions people were hoping to see possibly were Will Zellers. They thought maybe had played his way on there. Cullen
Yep.
Potter, who's
Yep.
a first-round draft pick,
played
not
quite
on
well.
there, and also a good player for Arizona State. And
So
also,
here would be the reason. Okay, let me just speak.
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit. You know, those 2 players bring a offensive dynamic to the team. If you have 12 offensive dynamic players on your team, you're not going to do well in the World Juniors. I think Bob knows the formula. Like, hey, I already got 2 just like I probably got 6 or 7
Yep.
just like them. And let's compare Brody Zemer to Cullen Potter. Athletically, I think Cullen Potter might be a more gifted offensive player, but Brody's more of a 200-foot player.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, you got to factor a lot of those things in when they're choosing these rosters. Like, okay, this is what we're going to get here. This is what we're going to get here. So, yeah, are those 2 deserving based on their offensive prowess? Yes, but
Yes.
I think you got to look at the full picture of
They're all
building a
jockeying
team.
for the same position on the team.
Correct.
Technically, the sub 6 foot, under 200, shifty goal scorer.
Right.
You can't have 15 of those guys.
No,
You're
no.
gonna get pushed around.
yeah, and then I know another one too people were thinking about was Ethan Wittenbach, who plays for Quinnipiac. He's been kind of one of those fringe guys as well. They didn't know if he was going to play his way
Yeah.
kind of into a forward spot or not, so he's not on there either. Or guys like J.P. Hurlbert, some of those other names too
I'm
that are kind of bigger
surprised
names that aren't on there.
He's still an 08, though, so he's got 2 more years.
Yeah, some of these
eligibility.
guys, maybe are just a tad young. We'll see. Same with like Carter Casey. He's still pretty young too.
He's
so-
got another year next year of to play in
Eligibility.
it, and then there's no 08 Americans on the team.
So,
right? I don't think.
I
there
don't
are.
know the birth year specifics.
Yeah,
but
it would have been the kid from Minnetonka. I'm totally drawing a blank on him. Denver commit. I could see his face. Sorry, memory's gone. Shot.
It's over.
like
No.
Burchild or who?
No,
Burchild, thank you.
Mikey Burchild.
He would
Gotcha.
be the lone
Yeah.
08 American,
Well,
I think.
and I think we're splitting hairs here. I think this is just showing how high of a talent you have to be to crack this roster.
Here's a good hater tweet.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, I like
Where
that.
are Wittenbach and Potter, you clowns? Enjoy not winning a medal.
He's definitely not a fan of where they
from
play.
at Let's Talk Flames.
Oh, interesting. No ulterior motives there.
Yeah, so
None.
it was a hidden reply too. So I had
they
to
hid it.
unhide the replies
awesome.
to look at it, which
That
is
is
funny.
awesome.
I have closure on an anecdote, by the way. Sampo Ranta
Yeah,
playing for Orebro
I would say
HK
in Finland,
in Sweden.
Sweden.
Yep.
Sweden. Okay.
8 games into the season, he's got 3 points.
You
2
don't know
goals
your
and assists.
Swedish professional teams?
Played for
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Played for, I believe it's pronounced Modo the last 2 years. MODO.
I would have figured after he tried it a couple years in the AHL, he'd just go home.
How
and
about
play.
this career stat line? 16 NHL games for the Colorado Avalanche.
He
Really?
played 16 NHL
Played
games?
16 NHL games.
Ooh,
0
I'm just gonna
goals.
get Dash.
0 assists.
How about Dash? Any minuses?
I don't know if they have plus minus. I'm looking on Elite Prospects right,
All right.
now, but
Gotcha.
Yep. Didn't factor into this score sheet in any of his
He was a third-round pick.
60.
Wasn't
-4 for his career. There you go. -4
he?
NHL.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise,
Good
some,
gopher.
Yeah, he was
Great
good.
great nickname, by the way. Shampoo.
I like that
Yeah.
name.
All right.
I'll stop talking now.
Upcoming games. Minnesota at Ohio State. If you're the Gophers, you want to
Just a
sweep.
little correction.
Yeah.
It's,
When is that?
it's the Ohio State University.
Jesus, no.
And this is a fun one too.
I've never done that.
This is a fun one this weekend, having the Gophers at Ohio State, because a couple years ago I was in Columbus this weekend, Gophers at Ohio State, with the Ohio State football team playing in the Big Ten championship game
That would
night.
be fun.
Roughly 40% of the crowd was standing out in the hallways watching the football game on the
Yeah.
monitors and just ignoring the hockey game.
Oh,
So
for sure.
Yeah.
It is a Thursday-Friday series, so take note of that if you're wanting
That might
to
help.
watch it. That's a big one for the Gophers. You're going to want to take a majority of points, if not sweep that, if you want to kind of continue up the hype and the trajectory with some good wins as of recent and not kind of get everybody mad again. You're going to want to have a good weekend.
Yeah, no doubt.
Bemidji State is at Augustana. That will be an interesting CCHA matchup to watch because we said Bemidji State's been good, and Augustana, we kind of are question marking them right now a little bit. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. NCHC matchup, North Dakota at St. Cloud. For St. Cloud fans, if I feel like as someone who watches St. Cloud, if they just get swept and get 0 points, I have a feeling that's kind of how I'm going to feel the rest of the season. This is kind of one of those litmus test weekends where I'm like, if we get some points, I think then this might be a decent season. If we sweep North Dakota, it'll
Oh
be a
my
good season. And if
hype.
they get swept 0 points, then not going to be a good rest of the season. Not excited. So
You're
this is
putting
kind of
all
like
your
a,
eggs into that basket.
not all my eggs, but I think this is one of the weekends where I'm going to go, okay,
How
this
good
is
are
going to
we?
tell me the rest of the mood for the rest of the year. If they
Yep.
get,
Yep.
depending on
I
kind of
think that's
everything.
fair.
Because
kind
this
of
is
a mood setter.
one
Yep.
of those mood setter weekends of like, you've had some good wins, you've had some bad losses. This is at home and it's against a good team. So
if they're
what are we
truly
going to expect?
14 in the NPI, the season has got they got life ahead of them.
Yeah, but they've
And
had
they
some
play in a good conference too.
clunker losses, and there's been nights where they just have not shown up. So they need to do some work here this weekend.
Can someone pull up this NPI? Do they have an NPI?
Yeah, we'll do that in a second here. And
I
then
would love to
a
hear
couple
what
other
that
ones.
is.
This one I'm not super interested in. Minnesota State versus Ferris State. Obviously,
No.
Mankato's going to look to sweep that. Minnesota Duluth is in Kalamazoo at Western Michigan. That'll be actually probably
That's
a good
good
matchup
hockey.
there. That's a good one. And then another one not super interesting. St. Thomas is playing Lake State. So again, Tommy's going to be looking to hopefully grab all of the points there. available.
Western's won 4 in a row coming into that one. Playing pretty well, scoring a lot of goals. So that will be an interesting series.
UMD.
Current
you-
NPI rankings.
Here we go.
Your favorite team, Dartmouth, number 1, because they're 8-0.
Yeah. What the hell?
But otherwise, then it's Michigan, Wisconsin, UMD, and Denver to round out the top 5. So I think that seems
All right.
pretty accurate.
All right.
6 through 10 is Mankato, North Dakota, Northeastern, Michigan State, Penn State.
All right. I'm okay with that.
And then 10 through 15 would be Penn
Hang on.
State is
10
10.
through 15. 11 through 15 has got to be
Western
a lot of
Michigan,
UConn and Providence.
Cornell, Quinnipiac, St. Cloud, and Bowling Green.
Ooh.
Interestingly enough. So it starts to get a little funky around like 12, 13.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden you get Cornell, Quinnipiac, St. Cloud, and Bowling Green. A lot of teams. So I'm kind of like, okay, very different teams there.
Pathway. Yeah.
Very different teams. And yeah, it kind of just gets stranger from there. Interestingly enough, Lindenwood, 19.
Go
So,
Lions.
come on.
But again, we're just around
Come on.
Thanksgiving.
Keith
so
Fisher. Go Lions.
we are very still kind of early in this. It's December 1st that we're
Well,
recording
I mean,
this. So
my theory on this, if looking at this from a Gopher perspective, they have it all right out in front of them. I mean,
Yeah.
they get 4 games with Michigan and 4 games with Michigan State still on their schedule. You have your whole future right in front of you.
Well, I think the overtime losses really are playing a big part in some of these teams being higher than they are. Because St. Cloud's 7-7, which is way higher than most teams with 7 losses, but they have 3 overtime losses. Same with
Where is Michigan Tech
same with-
and where is Minnesota?
Okay, well, same with Ohio State. They're 5-9 and they're 24 in the NPI, but they have 4 overtime losses. So I think the overtime losses are kind of boosting up some teams where you'd go,
Right.
well, they have 9. That's a lot of losses, but like if they're all in overtime, it's kind of carrying them a little higher.
Right.
So
Where is Minnesota? Where's Michigan Tech?
Minnesota is 36.
Jeez.
Yikes.
Michigan
Okay.
Tech is 38.
Yeah, okay.
Seems
All right.
about right.
Sounds about right.
So kind of, I'd say the top 10 seem pretty legit in the NPI right now, and anything kind of below 10 is a little up for grabs right
Anything
now.
below 10 looks fraudulent to
Yeah,
me.
it looks a little, because even as a St. Cloud fan,
Lindenwood
cool,
and
they're
St.
14, but
Thomas?
I do not believe they're the 14th top team right now. Like,
Okay,
no
so
way.
St. Thomas is
18. Yeah,
right?
like some of these are just a little, or like Holy Cross is 23. Like that, just some of these are a little. It's a little early still to be looking at this.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at St. Thomas's, how they would have achieved to get to 18. They have
They're 6-6 and 3,
Cloud. They
and
beat
they're
St. Cloud. That's a good
they
win.
swept St. Cloud.
Beat
There
Providence.
it is.
Yep.
There it is.
Beat Providence.
They
beat
beat Providence. Yep.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that. I'll give
Yep.
you 18. All right.
So there's some interesting teams that are probably much higher than they should be, but I think over the next few weeks, I think by the new year it'll shake up a little bit more. There's not a ton of games between now and
No, I was going to say, are we
the
going to
new
have a
year, but
show?
even just like another week or two, I think a
Would
couple
we have a
teams
show
will
after
shift.
next week? It seems like everybody's off for like a
Do we have a
I-
holiday break?
I know
Yeah.
next week, this weekend, there's a chunk of games, and then after that, I don't know how many people are playing the week after, so
No.
I'll have to see. So
No,
we might
it's
be taking a break, or
couple
maybe we'll
weeks
do like a
off.
Hobie show or something.
I like that.
something like that.
A bottle
Um,
episode.
I like that.
I watch a lot of Netflix. I know what's going on.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right, did you read off all those games coming up?
I did, yeah.
We're all
Those
done?
all the
We're-
Minnesotan teams.
That's it.
We're
We're out of stuff
dropping
to
the
talk
mic
about.
and that-
We're dropping the mic.
dropping the mic and we're walking
Sure.
on. We'll have one more show next week and then we'll probably take a couple weeks off.
Yeah, because I assume we don't have many after that.
No.
This is what was this number 8? Sorry, I think
It
this is
is,
our
yeah.
8th show.
It
yeah.
is.
Episode 8. Wow. They're just starting to flow like
Yep.
the river.
Actually, this might be 9.
We're entering a
Really?
flow state.
Ooh, I
Ooh,
like
I-
that.
I
like
say
that.
we do a clip show for our 10th anniversary show. It's just,
What's that?
Oh my gosh, there'd be
best
so
best
many.
highlights from our
Oh, yeah.
from our
I'd
previous
get
9
roasted
shows.
by Joey memes for that.
Yeah, it would be.
It would just
if I
be
were to
me
pick
saying
one
wee
highlight,
woo
it
like
would be
100
the-
times.
If there's one highlight, it would be the Pegs at Cincinnati, in Cincinnati for the Frozen Four. That actually happened is still
Oh, the net pegs,
blows
yeah.
me away.
Yeah.
Oh.
Blows me
The
away.
quarter and a piece of gum that held the pipe in place
Yeah,
long enough.
that
Yeah.
blew me away. That blew me away.
True story. Michigan Wolverines right behind you. They won the title that year.
Well, stay tuned. We'll blow you away some more next week here on This Week in College Hockey. For Jess Myers and Sydney Wolf, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks for tuning in.